Hi everyone, I am so excited to be bringing you my 7 steps on how to incorporate a whole food plant-based diet into your lifestyle. Every day for the next 7 days, I'm going to be bringing you one step per day, and along with that, I am going to be sharing with you a tip on how to make the transition into a whole food plant-based diet a little bit easier for you. So I want you to remember, this is your personal journey. And even though I'm giving you these 7 steps, take them in whatever order you want to take them in. Do this at your own pace. This is your own journey. Everybody's body is different, so do what's right for you and your body. And I just want to mention too that this is, even though we call it a whole food plant-based diet, this is not really a diet in the sense that we're restricting calories. I want you to eat as much as you possibly can, as long as it's whole food plant-based. So let's get started now with step number 1. Make meals meatless. So again, take this at any pace that you feel comfortable with. I recommend starting this week, take one whole week and make every single breakfast meatless. And then the second week, continue with breakfast and add in lunches. So now you have every single lunch and breakfast is going to be meatless. Now the third week, continue with the breakfast and lunch, and now add in dinner. So by the third week, you have breakfast, lunch, and dinner are all going to be meatless. This kind of gives you a little bit of time to adjust and just kind of prepare and get used to the thought and the idea of not having meat in your daily meals. Some suggestions just to kind of make it a little easier for you. Breakfast, oatmeal is fantastic. Something so easy. You can take it on the go. Overnight oats are wonderful. Just make sure you don't get those instant oatmeal packets. They are packed full of sugar and sodium. Just get the regular old-fashioned oats. It takes maybe 3 to 5 minutes to make them in the morning. Steel cut oats are wonderful. Fresh fruit, smoothies. So you just got to think outside the box a little bit from what you're maybe used to doing. Lunches, now for a little bit, this could very well just be peanut butter and jelly. If that's the easiest thing for you to do and to make the transition. I know for me, when I had to pack my lunch when I was going to work and I was making that transition, I needed something quick. I needed something easy that I could eat. And that was, for me, it was peanut butter and jelly. Avocado, lettuce, and tomato sandwiches, those are another good one. Or maybe just a whole grain bagel with hummus and vegetables on it. That's delicious as well. Again, as you kind of get more used to making meals, you'll come up with some more variety. For dinners, I would say just kind of start with where it is that you are at. Maybe make some of your meals that you make now and just omit the meat, like pasta. Just take out any sort of meat that you might put in pasta, whatever that may be for you. Chili, just take out the meat. Again, it's something that you can eat and you won't even notice that it's missing. There's certain soups that you can make where you're just taking out the meat. Tacos, those are another great thing where you won't even notice that it's missing. In making the transition, I would say if you feel like you need to add in some of the processed vegan meat replacements that are out there, that's okay in getting transitioned over. Your taste buds are kind of getting used to a new way of eating, and you might miss those and crave those. Keep in mind, these are processed. It's not a whole food, even though it is plant-based. And there is a ton of fat. There's a ton of sodium in them. So it's not something that you want to continue on in the long run. But to get started, I think that these are decent options. And they do taste similar to meat. So it gives you that texture and taste that you're used to. It helps make the transition a little bit easier. Another thing that you could do if you didn't want to do the step-by-step process on a weekly basis is maybe just take one day out of the week and say, let me do meatless Mondays. So for the first week, you just do one whole day that you're not doing meat, and then the rest of the days you would eat how you normally would. So again, whatever works for you, but just gradually continue to take meals and see how you can make them meatless. Give yourself a challenge. See what you can do. It's always fun. So my tip on making this easier is don't go all fancy with trying to look up all these plant-based or vegan recipes and making things that you have never heard of before, never used. I mean, there's so many different spices out there, and if you've never tasted it before, or if you've never like cooked with tofu, for example, and you're trying to get ambitious, that's wonderful. But if this is something that you're trying to start out in the beginning, that can be a little daunting and not such a great experience to try something and say, this is disgusting. And honestly, cooking something like tofu, it takes some practice. It takes a little bit of getting to know how to work with it. So I recommend just sticking with things that are easier, recipes that you know, ingredients that you know. As you grow in this journey, by all means, go outside of the box and try all these different wonderful foods that are out there. But in the beginning, I say stick with something easier. Again, recipes that you already cook with now, just make them meatless. That's the easiest way to go. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for step number 2. Please feel free, as I've said, to let me know if there's any comments or questions that you may have for me.